and let's talk about easy LinkedIn profile optimization. Basically, a lot of people that I encounter, especially law students, since this is geared more towards law students, need some help in figuring out how to get their LinkedIn properly formatted, what they should include, what they shouldn't include. So I'm going to just basically in this little video run through my own profile to show people what I've done, and let you see what I recommend you should do and have some ideas of where to go, and kind of optimize your own profile so that people can find you. You have keywords included, everything like that. All right, so let's just get started. So looking at my LinkedIn profile, you can obviously see that the picture right here is of me, and I always recommend you use a professional headshot. It looks better, it gives a more professional, forward-facing image of yourself, and it's also important to not use anything that's cropped. Like if you're in a group photograph, don't crop other people out or have like a random half shoulder of somebody else, because you want you to be the focus. You don't want other people to be included in the picture, and most importantly, you want it to look professional. So you don't have to get a professional photographer. A lot of smartphone cameras are excellent quality. It does look better if you have like a DSLR or a mirrorless camera of some kind. But I do recommend you go ahead and get a friend or a professional photographer if you want to spend the money, and get a nice looking headshot and add that to your LinkedIn profile. It's also good just to have on hand, if you want to put it other places like on your website, blog, or Twitter profile, or anywhere else online. It's a good thing to have just saved on your computer so you can easily access it and use it everywhere. Okay, so your photograph is important. Next, I'd like to talk about this right here, and I don't know if it highlights. Yes, it does highlight. Okay. Your tag, your headline, that's really important. So if you click on the edit button, you can actually go in and add in a headline. And a lot of law students or a lot of attorneys simply put their job title, or they put that they're a law student or JD candidate. Get out of that mindset. Add something that is descriptive, that uses keywords such as like areas of the law that you're interested in. If you're an attorney, put that you're an actual attorney. If you're a law student, be careful to not actually do that, because you're not a legal professional yet. You can use the word professional, just don't try to hold yourself out or make it confusing as to whether or not you're actually a law student. But as you can see here, I use the term intellectual property, media and technology law, as well as media and entertainment, because those are all kind of areas that I want to highlight and have as keywords so that when people search on LinkedIn for somebody, I am somebody that comes up. And the keywords definitely help you do that and set you apart. Continuing on, it's also important, going back to this one other thing here on when you edit your intro, go ahead and make sure that your current position, you can change this. So if you want to highlight that you're currently doing an internship, or you actually have multiple positions that you are currently holding. So here, for instance, I'm a young lawyer fellow with the American Bar Association, and I have that as an actual job position, even though it's not technically a job. I just wanted it to show up there at the top. So here you can actually choose what your intro displays. So if you want to have one particular current job over the other displayed at the top of your profile along with your headline, this is where you can do it. So make sure it's customized to what you want to portray. And then you can also go through here and customize other settings. Your summary is very important as well. My summary, I kind of have targeted keywords for people to find me if they're interested in following along with what I'm blogging about, my career, that kind of thing. It kind of highlights in very short, succinct sentences what I do, why I do it, and kind of brief overviews of that. Another important thing is to make sure that if you're an attorney, depending on your local rules, you want to make sure that you specify that the endorsements don't represent any type of certification or specialization, something that attorneys have to watch out for. So check your local bar association rules or your local bar rules, and that should be able to tell you ethically what you should or should not include on your LinkedIn profile. Continuing on down, here I highlight it. You can't really control any of this, so we'll kind of just skip over it, but it highlights articles that you've recently written. So getting into your experience. I always make sure that whenever I add a company that I'm working for, I tag in the actual company name. And let me show you how to do that. If you click on edit here, you can have it to where it shows the nice logo of the company. So if you don't choose that, so let me just show you. If I take this out, that is a really ugly gray icon that shows that it's not actually connected to a registered organization or a company or organization that has captured their profile or whatever it's called, their own entity on LinkedIn platform. So right here, if you just start typing in whatever entity, and I'll put in my own again, Naxos is where I currently am, you'll see it starts to populate. And so what you want to do is actually select something from the drop down so that you have the nice company logo included. And then what's really cool is you can even go in and edit it as well. So yeah, so there we go. Put Naxos Music Group. You can put your location. Moving on down to the description of what you do at the organization, always include bullet points. Don't just leave it blank. Because again, if you're looking for a job or if you want to highlight certain things, it's really easy to add the bullet points and have people to, like a recruiter or somebody else that wants to look at your profile, they can easily read and see what you're doing. And this is simply copied and pasted from a resume or anywhere else that you already have this information written out. If you don't have it written out yet, I recommend you check out the job posting that you applied for when you got your job that you have now or whatever you're doing right now. You can pull keywords or phrases of what your current roles and responsibilities are and throw them in here, and it's an easy way to kind of get started. And then as you move forward, you do other things, you can kind of tailor it and build upon it. But bullet points are very important as well because, as I've told people before, I got one of my first job offers when I was a 3L about to graduate, or actually during the bar exam. I was studying for the bar exam. I got my first job offer because I had keywords that were here. Specifically, the words I used were e-discovery and litigation. So those two combined in this description field helped me get my first job offer. And it was because a recruiter was searching on LinkedIn and found my profile by using these keywords. So again, the description is very important as well. Just like I mentioned before, the headline, you want to make sure that you use keywords because that's really going to help you stand out and pop up in search results. So you click save. You can add other media to kind of show if you're a graphic designer or if you do something else that if you do like a PowerPoint slide, you can do slide share. You can add all of that. I don't have any of that right now, so I'll just discard my changes. And do this for every position that you have. You can notice here I have bullet points for everything that I've done previously. So put it in there and it'll help you show up on search results. Moving on down, always add in your education. And again, one of the things that some people don't realize is if you start typing in the name of your university or wherever you went to college, let it populate and select it from the drop down so that it actually targets and pairs you with that organization or that school. That helps you get included on their company page or their school page, as well as show up in people that are searching for alumni, that kind of thing. It really does help expand your network and get you connected to all the different areas of LinkedIn that you can be. Scrolling on down, I include volunteer experience because I think it's important to show that you're well-rounded, that you're involved, actively contributing to the community or some area of interest to you. And this is an area that LinkedIn recently changed right here, the skills and endorsements. You'll notice that now it shows, it doesn't just show like all of your endorsements, it shows your top ones, and then it also shows not just the number anymore, but it tells you if somebody is highly skilled in that area has endorsed you. I think it's great because it kind of gets around that issue of just anybody and everybody that you connect with going to your profile and not really knowing what you're doing and just clicking on one of these and saying that you're skilled or experienced. So that's great to do, and I think it's a really helpful thing. Scrolling on down, recommendations, I messed up, I'll be honest. I actually deleted some of the job titles that I had previously, some of the roles, and I added them back. So if you delete previous experience. Know that it also deletes the recommendations. I knew that, but still I just messed up, so be careful. I used to have about 3 or 4 recommendations that I received, so I've got to get back on top of that. So if you're like me and you don't have any, go ahead and reach out. It's really easy. I always, the mindset that I had when I was in law school, when I was doing internships, I would always ask for a LinkedIn recommendation coupled with the actual letter of recommendation before I left the internship. And I recommend you do this before you leave the internship, because otherwise you're likely to forget. And then also the person that you interned with, your supervisor, more than likely will get too busy, or they will not remember everything that you worked on as clearly as when you're still there. So go ahead and just wrap it up that last week or 2 before you end whatever your job is or your internship. So yeah, again, you can add in publications. I've chosen to add in a few that are forthcoming. I kind of leave publications. I have a blog that I run, and I leave this section to only, how do I put it, peer-reviewed or actual publications that aren't just self-publications, if you will. So don't just flood it with everything and anything that you write. Kind of be selective, because you don't want to have 30 or 40 that are just your own blog post or a Tumblr post that you did. So be selective here. And then also you can follow organizations. So as you can see here, I'm following many different organizations as well as influencers. And then you can also join groups. You can choose whether or not those are displayed on your profile. I choose to do that. I'm more open than most people, I guess. So it's a personal decision. You can do whatever you want. One last thing I will point out, if you go back up to the top and click on your edit, the button at the top, up here in the left-hand corner, if you have a premium account, you can display that badge. There are all these different types of premium accounts, and they have benefits to some and not really a benefit to others, depending on what level of career you're in or what you're trying to get out of LinkedIn. So that's a whole nother discussion that I won't get into. But you can choose to display that on your profile or not. Right here, though, open profile, I choose to leave this on. And as you can see here, it says it's only available to premium people. The people that have premium can choose this. But I allow this because I think it's important to let people that aren't connected to me reach out to me if they want to. Again, I haven't had really any issues with spam so far, so if it does become an issue, obviously I can change that, but for now it's perfectly fine. So yeah, I think that kind of is everything that I wanted to highlight. It's important, again, to get your LinkedIn profile set up, go through and just put in as much information as you can and make it as keyword heavy, as long as it's relevant to what you're doing, and that, coupled with growing your network through connections and joining groups, can really help you optimize your LinkedIn profile.